Hello, 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 everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. It is a brisk 3 degrees Celsius outside today. It's sunny. It's sunny, which means it's 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, Provinces to the west of us have had quite a bit of snow already. We're expecting snow later this week. Hey, Anne, welcome, welcome. Snow probably starting late tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. We're supposed to get 6 to 8 inches. My goodness gracious, that's a lot of snow. It's probably going to be wet and heavy. And so it's time to start snuggling down and get ready for the winter stuff. What you been up to, Anne? Nice to see you. Today I figured that I would. Hey, Belinda, welcome, welcome. I kind of thought that I would revisit some of the stuff or one of the things that I had done in the past. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, Snow, yeah, we're supposed to be getting snow and lots of it. So, Ron's, get rid of storage. Not, oh, okay, good idea, and makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, so 6 to 8 inches of snow. Ron has made sure that the snow blower is accessible. He's working on the generator just in case we lose power, which is quite likely in the rural areas. Yeah, there's the mushroom kind of hiding. Oh, I've got so much stuff on the desk. It's getting crazy. I have to do a big cleanup. Um, but I'm waiting for the snow so that I know for sure we're not going anywhere. So he's pulled the generator out. He's going to make sure that that's ready to go. It's just starting to change. My trees are pretty much bare. Some of them are still holding out, like my apple trees for some reason. The leaves are all yellow, finally. Finally. Some of them have started to fall. I mean, we've had minus degrees overnight already, but they're not falling off. And our silly ash trees have those like helicopter or dragonfly kind of wing seeds in big clusters, and they're not dropping those either. My weeping willow out front is still green. I don't get it. It's just absolutely crazy. But, you know, like I say, we've had minus degree temperatures overnight already, and that's normal for October. It's just that I know he was just mowing the grass. It's crazy. This is Manitoba. When it decides it's winter, it's here. Yeah, so I had a thought today. I have thoughts every day, but sometimes it's like, what am I going to do? It is nature, definitely. Oh, excellent. And 2 new shelf units. Oh, nice. Nice. We're still looking at this area and trying to decide just how to set it up that could be most beneficial. Ron figures what I need is like a narrow aisle that my chair can just roll back and forth so that when I've got one area dirty, I can just move over and my camera will go sliding on a so that I can just keep making a mess and then, kind of clean up whatever. I don't know how that's going to work. Anyway, my daughter used to do those paint nights where people would pay $25 and that would cover your canvas, your paint, the brushes that you use. Not that you get to keep the brushes, but she would go and teach paint nights. So she had a set number of what are they, paintings that she had to learn to do. And so I've got a stack of the ones that she considered failures. I would like to alter those at some point. I have plans, guys. You know that. I've got plans. But because she did paint nights and she was putting paint out for people, she had stacks of these styrofoam plates. Well, we don't use styrofoam plates here. I'm not a big fan of styrofoam, but I have this batch from one bag, and I still have a whole bag of 150 styrofoam plates. I don't necessarily want to donate them to a food kitchen or anything because it's going to be a single use and they're going to get thrown out. So, what I do with them, and I know I've used meat trays in the past and shown you how I do printmaking things with them, but I figured today I would do it on the plates just to show you, you know. Of course, I am only going to be taking the flat part. The rest is going to get thrown out, unfortunately. But either way, it was meant to end up in the landfill. We don't recycle styrofoam here, which really bothers me. But at least this way, I can reuse these, right? Like they'll be used more than one time. They may last me 6 months. They may last me a year before they go in the garbage. So these styrofoam plates are going to last me the rest of my life. Yeah, they can be stencils. They could be, I want to show you how I use them for doing prints. I know I've shown you in the past, but I figured we would revisit that and I would show you how I use a stencil on this so that I get the, I can have a, if I want to put love and use, that kind of thing. So it's a constant, similar, you know what I mean? It's going to be the same, just different colors. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut. Got to get the scissors in there. Of course, you can use these little bits, and I haven't found a glue that works really good on them for putting them down and using them for like stamps for mark making. If anybody knows of a good, reasonably priced white glue that will work for that, hot glue seems to melt it a little bit. But you know what I mean. If we could figure out something to use these and do some mosaic-y kind of stamp things. Hey Sherry, welcome. Oh, I'm not looking forward to reorganizing in the mess, Anne. Oh my goodness. So, if you've got kids and you're doing Halloween costumes, these make great bases. Like if you take the part of the hat out or the part of the plate out, you can put ears on this, all kinds of things. It makes like a great headband. It sits around the head really nice. All you have to do is cut this and maybe put an elastic in it. Sometimes you have to make it a little bit smaller, in which case I just put an elastic around it and tighten it. And like I say, you can put floppy hang ears down, all kinds of things. But I don't have little kids anymore, so unfortunately, I am just going to throw this in the garbage. Which is painful because, styrofoam in the garbage is not, but I'm going to cut this one as well. Yes, Belinda, I'm sure you know about that kind of mess. Cut the wedge out so that you can. Now, you could be really fussy and cut these exactly round, square. I'm just showing you some fun things to do with styrofoam plates. Yes, you can use meat trays, but please make sure that you wash them and sterilize them really, really well before you use them, because you don't want any of that bacteria, because as crafters, quite often we cut ourselves and we get scratches and that kind of thing on our hands. We don't need any of that bacteria coming into our bodies and causing us any additional problems. Okay, so I've got these flat things, and I'm just going to cut them into squarish rectangle things. You know what I mean? And the thing is, because these are flat, I can use these as well. Those ones we can use. We could use these for various little things. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is when you've got a piece this size, if you want to use a cookie cutter on it, you need a cookie cutter with a decently sharp edge. Plastic cookie cutters will work, but you have to be pretty darn firm with them. But you can put a cookie cutter down, and you have to give it a really, really good press down. So you've got a little bit of an indent. Can you see the indent? It's not that clear. So then I would come with something a little bit sharper, like a nail or something, and I would definitely go around that dent and make it deeper. You also have to remember that when you print with this, you're not going to get a very sharp image. Does that make sense? That even though I've done this heart and I've gone around that edge that was kind of flat, when you do the indents, it's jaggedy. It doesn't, I'm sure that now if I put the cookie cutter back in, it might smooth it out. I have not put it through a die cut machine. What about, though, if you put it through an embossing folder? Oh, we're fuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Have you put them through an embossing folder, Anne? I wonder what that would work like. So anyway, now we've got this. Let's just kind of square it off. It's not going to be square. It's going to be just... And unlike a gel plate, or like a gel plate, you know that when you put paint on it, whatever's flat is what's going to have paint. So it would be this shape with a heart in the middle of it. Does that make sense? And have you put it through a die cut machine? You know what? I have a die cutting machine and I have embossing folders. Should we play? Because you've seen this before, right? You know what happens when paint gets put on this and you use it like a stamp? You just get the color and just this outline left. Okay, let me just grab the die cutting machine. Ha, ha, ha. Let's play. Why not? Why not? I'm into playing. I am. Okay, I have my embossing folders. I have to go around the back side here and get my dies and machine. But I want to play. These. Because using the embossing folders, that would make them like a stamp, wouldn't it? Because, I mean, I've used my embossing folders on the paint chips, remember? I've used them. Oh, look, I've got stuff stuck to it, right? But I've used the embossing folder on these paint chips, and I've used those as a stamp. Sherry, I'm just using styrofoam plates because I happen to have a bazillion of them because my daughter used to do those paint nights. So, like I say, I've got lots and lots of styrofoam plates that I don't want to use for food because it's a single purpose and they get thrown out. This way, if I can use them in craft projects, I can use them multiple times. Okay, so I don't have very many dies. Let's put the machine up here. I like it that we're playing. Okay. I have the machine. It's not going to stick down, so I'm going to have to hold it and just crank firmly, right? Let's move the paint out of the way. We'll see what happens. What have we got to lose? A piece of styrofoam or two? All right. So I think we want something that's a little bit, I don't know, not too intricate. Excuse me. Oh. Something that isn't too intricate because we don't want to have to poke out all the little pokies, right? I think that's going to be the... It does have suction cup pleats on the bottom. It doesn't stick to the paper. It doesn't stick to that mat. And it definitely doesn't stick to the wood. So I'm going to have to hold it. Okay, let's just use an oval die. Yeah, I know I shouldn't store them this way, but that's what it is. That's what it is. And you know what? I don't know if these dies are thick enough to cut it. You know what I mean? Because the styrofoam's a little bit thicker. But we'll find out. We will find out. So, I've got that. We'll see what kind of thickness we need to go through here. So you can tell my plates have been used lots. But since we're experimenting, it's okay. I don't really... Oh, look, the styrofoam's staticky, right? So that's fun. Not. Get back on there. That's interesting. That is definitely interesting. Not sure that I need the rubber mat. We'll find out. We will find out. Oh, yeah. I need something. That rubber mat, I think, is too thick. We'll find out. Let's just see. Let's just see. Oh, I hear it. It's cutting. Maybe. Yeah, it works really good like on an arborite. I do have an arborite table, but I don't use it here. Yeah, they're warped and whatever. Okay, so it did cut it out. Look how nice and oval that is. So have we decided what kind of glue works good with styrofoam? Anybody have a clue? Because that would definitely give a nice raised bit to something. You know what I mean? So that we have more of a 3D effect. Tacky glue, maybe. Maybe. Anyway, let's do a few of these and see. If we can use them. So how about if I can do one this way? Let's get a smaller oval or something else small. I want to see just how intricate we can cut here. These are just straight pieces. And again, the styrofoam flies away. the styrofoam being staticky, I'm trying to maneuver it so that it goes over both those plates. Maybe I need to put the styrofoam, put it like this, stick these plates where I want them. I think that's the way it's going to have to go. Like build it backwards. Does that make sense? So it'd be the rubber, the plate, the styrofoam, plate, and this. Gorilla Glue's recommended. Well, I've got Gorilla Glue. Ron's got lots out in the shop. Oh. All right. So now we should have like a little tag. And it's nice. It cuts beautifully. If anybody asks you, it cuts beautifully. You know what else I wanted to try cutting? Oh, Weld Bond. I like Weld Bond too. I used to use that for doing mosaics with glass. It would hold the glass down until you grouted it. You know what else I want to try on with an embossing folder? I have to, oh, wrong light. Just give me a second to look. I have the foils from coffee machines, right? You know what else would work good in an embossing folder? Like an aluminum plate. Yeah, they would make great stuff for mixed media. They really would. What I'm thinking now is these little rectangle things, if you wanted to raise a piece up so it looks 3D, remember we used to do paper towel and we would use silicone dots or whatever? We might be able to do that with scraps of styrofoam. Okay, back to trying to find those foil things from the coffee. Put them aside so that I could try them with an embossing folder. Let's try an embossing folder. We won't use this. We will use the embossing folders, right? So let's take another styrofoam. Just let's use this hunk here because we're experimenting. It's a learning experience. Elmer's glue all doesn't stick to it, Sherry. I've tried the Elmer's glue all and it just peels off, which is weird because if you put acrylic paint on styrofoam, you cannot peel that off. It's very strange. Embossing folder. That's what I want. So I need those. I won't need that because it'll be too thick. Let's try these roses. Might be a bit thick, guys, but who cares? Like, we're playing. We are playing. I'm not going to put the rubber mat in. This way. Oh, I can hear it crunking. Can you hear it crunking? Well, I haven't had luck with Elmer's glue all. Maybe I was using it on a different kind of styrofoam. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm out of room here. Look. No, don't fall. Sorry. So that will work perfectly for a stamp. You know, and it's got more substance. This, on some of these, I had to double them up when I put them through because it actually tore through the paint chips. But using it on styrofoam, that would be a perfect stamp. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? That would be a perfect stamp. So I'll do a few more. Let's grab a couple more plates and cut the centers out. Sure wish I knew where those silver things went. As I say, I put them someplace safe, guys. You've heard me say that how many times? Oi. Okay. We're just going to cut out a square. Uh-oh. I didn't quite get the edge. I'll have to just trim that down. So I'm sure that if I really measured nice, I would have a nice square from the center of the... But we know how much I like to measure. Okay, plate. Let's see what kind of embossing folders I've got. And I have arrows, lines of arrows. I know. Everything's in a safe place. There was something else I was looking for. I can't find anywhere. I have gears. I've got stripes. I'm not sure what these circles are. They are just kind of an abstract-y kind of thing with circles, and some have dots and some have lines. Can you see? Would it be better if I put a paper behind them? With the gears? Okay, let's try the gears. We will do the gears. All right. This. Okay, we got the sandwich. Oh, I can hear it. I don't have a flat surface here, guys. I have one at the back corner of my table beside me. So we've got gears this way and gears that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of these, and then we're going to try using them. See what they work like. So I've got this scallopy edge kind of thing. I don't know. I have various arrows. That could be fun. Let's do this one. I'm just going to chop another plate. Yeah, they both emboss on both. They all emboss on both sides. One is in and one is out. Try this arrow. And because it's styrofoam, we can use it a few times before it falls apart. New way of mark making stuff, guys. Thanks. I'm not really hearing it. I don't hear that squeak of the push with this one. We'll see what happens. Oh, we've got it though. Can you see? Oh, this side's the raised side. I call darn near everything Kim bits. Anything that I make that comes from my brain. I don't necessarily call these Kim bits because anybody could do this. It's not like my creativity. This would be great like for a background. Okay, so that one worked. I have wood grain. But to be honest, this'll be great. You can see that all of my a lot of my have paint on them because I use the embossing folders themselves as stamps. But if I have these sitting on the desk, I may use them more often, if that makes sense. I'm not going to bother with the wood grain. I have a fancy swirly snowflake border kind of thing. The wood grain would be good for the scarecrows. Do it on a book page, then I wouldn't have to do the doodling. Which is true, because then I, save me time doing the doodling for the wood grain. So I've got that snowflake one. Like I say, it's a border. Okay, we'll do the wood grain. I do have one on paint chip that I have used, but it's falling apart because it's not thick enough, so it kind of ripped through. Scissors. My goodness. See, this is what happens. I hide things. But yeah, this will definitely reduce some of the background doodling I have to do, I guess. Wood grain. Embellished monster and Gutenberg, maybe. I like hand embellishing them. But, for painty papers, when I'm using up book pages and things, definitely a good idea. Yep, we got wood grain. Look at that. Now, if I were to take these ovals or these tags and do them in wood grain, they would make great little signs. Yeah. So we will play with that one too after. Okay, so I've got that down. I've got clouds. Hey Shaz, welcome. We are taking styrofoam plates. I've got so many of them because my daughter used to do paint parties, and this is what she would use as a palette for the people, are these styrofoam plates. So I've got a partial pack and a full pack of 150. And I don't just want to donate them to a food bank or anything like a soup kitchen or whatever, because they're going to end up in the landfill one single use, right? So we ran them through the die cutter, and cut out some pieces, cuts beautifully. But now we're putting them through the embossing folders, and I'm going to use them as stamps. We'll try them after. So was I doing the clouds? Am I doing the clouds? I don't think so. I have another frame thing here with just like kind of swirly things. Like that. Do the clouds. So as I say, I'm just going to use these for stamping purposes. Texture, if I'm doing, well, stamps. I'll use them in place of stamps. It's just the way it's going to be. So this is just a Cricut die cutter thing. The clouds are cute. Look how cute those clouds are. Can you see them? So of course I would use the raised side. Okay, I don't want to do that frame. I've got all these little cameras. There was a lady in Winnipeg selling all her embossing folders for $15. So that's why I have all these. These aren't necessarily ones that I've chosen and purchased. They came with the ones, all these little cameras. Can you see them? I'm going to do the cameras. Yeah, I have to figure out something to do with those edges from these plates. Get a big pile of styrofoam uglies there. Big pile. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, he would. You know, that would be a wonderful background for a man's card or, well, ladies' cards too, but you know, quite often we're looking for masculine kind of things. And so much of this stuff is geared to the ladies, which is fine because ladies like it. But I know a few men that like this kind of thing too. Look at all those cute little cameras. We'll see how that stamps. I might cut them so that they're just in rows, if that makes sense. Or like in 4. That's a nice thing, right? All right, so that was the cameras. Then I've got this swirly, flowery corner thing. Oh, when I'm doing my corners, let's do this one. Because we know that I do a lot of corner tucks. And if I use that and use it like a stamp, I can always come back and doodle and embellish. So I figured that what I'll do with all these edges that I'm cutting off, I am going to find a small stencil and I'm going to put words backwards so that I can have word stamps. And they'll be Kim words. They're not going to be the kind of words everybody else has, if you know what I mean. Don't think they'll be all the everyday, ordinary words. I can't remember. My fish skeleton stencil, wasn't it? This way, this way, this way. Can't remember. You know, Belinda, I mix so much stuff. It was actually funny because on IG they asked if I wanted to make a reel, and they showed pictures of all this stuff that I had made and said, let's do a reel. So I put it together. I just clicked, yeah, let's do it. And half the stuff that was on there, I don't remember making. So I've got this corner. Oh, you see? Look, look. I want to see how that works. Because in the journals and everything, if I do like a little corner like this, I think that would be lots of fun. I wonder if I could cut a stencil like that. Huh. I bet you I could. Okay. Cut another plate. I should have just cut up a bunch of plates before we started. Yeah, I don't know. Was it in a journal? Was it in the rainbow journal maybe? No. Because I remember Jan wanted a copy of the stencil. So this is just a little, can you see it? Little square optical something, abstract square thing. I got this all backwards here. No, not the rainbow journal. What else was I doing? Was it the, oh, I know what it was. It was my other rude book. The one that all stuck together and is damaged. The one that I have to fix. That's what it was. See, this plate is cracked. It's just about cracked right across now. See, this is just like little squares. Yeah, it was the rude book. Right? It was the rude book. See, half the fish is missing. A lot of damage in this book that needs to be fixed. Okay, what else have I got? Okay, I've got some icicles. I'm not fond of that one. Rude book? Yeah! It's a rude book. It's got things like I have to put my glasses on to read it. I have my glasses here. Have you guys seen them? I just saw them. Where's my glasses? Yeah, I've made a couple of rude books. Things like being an adult is the dumbest thing I have ever done. Let's keep the dumb effery to a minimum today. I took a pain pill. Why are you still here? You know, I may be wrong, but I doubt it. You know, rude book. It's okay. There would be room. I could put them in, but I, did musical notes and fish and snarky sayings. Yeah, rude book. It's got a lot of four-letter words in multiple forms. That one's not as bad as the first rude book I did. That one I didn't try and clamp together to make it flat. I just left it the way it was. So it's kind of really springy all over the place. Like it's all twisty turny. You know what? I'm gonna put this one on the bottom. Maybe it won't crack all the way through. Yeah, I like sayings like that. It makes me laugh. Okay, are you gonna go through? Ooh, it's doing it on its own. So this one, oh, look how pretty that one is. Well, we're going to have lots to play with in a minute. This is a clothesline. Oh. I'm not going to bother with that one. This one is like a quilt of all different textures. This one I definitely want to do. Getting more plates out. And then won't it be a drag if they don't work the way I want them to? But I bet you they will. So just trying to cut out the flat in the middle. Yeah, as I say, if they still flat stuff on the side because they're round and I'm cutting squares, I'm going to try to put words on them. I actually have some metal punch. What are they? Letters. Yeah. Oh, I had a cool idea for some more Twinchies. As I was doodling the ones from the other day. Because I did some outlining and shading on them and it punched them out a lot. Did some shadows on the faces. Just embellished a bit, right? So then I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun? So I glued down the cupcake liner things. And I'm thinking I'm going to paint a lady's face with a cat on the head and that thing kind of behind. Sometimes I wish my brain would stop. Just stop. So we've got this. Can't see it very well. But we're going to try it. It's not very deep. But we'll see what happens. I have this one that I absolutely love. I could use the thing for a Puritan lady. Maybe not necessarily on a Twinchie. Oh, I hope this sound of cutting styrofoam doesn't bother you. If my grandson was here, he would be climbing the walls. He hates the sound of styrofoam. Good thing he doesn't watch my lives. So many ideas. This way. Oh, I can hear this one going good. This one, this embossing folder, unless the paper is really thick, it rips it. Okay. It puts holes in the paper. Oh, is this making you crazy, Shaz? I don't know if I can mute. Oh, I can mute my microphone while I am cutting it if you would like. Okay, I will mute my microphone. Remind me to unmute. No, I'll mute it. Don't want to make anybody loony. Muting. Hey, Jean, welcome, welcome. We are running styrofoam plates through the embossing folder to make stamps. Something different. Something different. So I have these musical notes. I don't know how well they will work because they're pretty fine, but we don't really have anything to lose. How you doing, Jean? Yeah, musical notes. That could work. We're going to try all these as stamps right away. I'm just running them all through. And so now I've got these itty bitty ones. What is that? I have, this is just one little batch of musical notes. That would make a cute little, a little stamp. So what about if I took, I wonder, looking for one of these edges I cut. Okay, I'm going to mute my microphone since this bothers Shaz. And I'm here. I will do this on screen though, so that you can see at least what I'm doing. Can you see? I think this is going to be a lovely one. We can hope. We can hope. I mean, if it comes right down to it, I can just use this as a staff. Now I've got this admit one ticket. Yeah. Are you feeling okay, Jean? Is your cold totally gone? I'm just going to cut this in half. Muting. I was saying about how my grandson has an issue with the sound of foam, that this would make him crazy, and Shaz has an issue. So that's why I'm muting it when I'm cutting the foam. Only in the mornings? Okay. Now let's hope that this side, when I use it, will come out nice. We'll see what happens. Like I say, we're experimenting here. I also have a bingo card. We'll see what that one does. I've got leaves. Oh, I got small gears. Oh, phone. Oh no, that's crazy. I have an issue with metal on metal. Like if you've got like a pan with cheese on it and you're scraping the cheese off, oh, that just gives me the willies. So I have this dude with the umbrella. This is what I've got left. This dude with the umbrella, you know, that Charlie Chaplin kind of dude thing. I have a bingo card. I'm kind of worried that this is going to come out backwards. We'll figure out that one. I have gears. Now I've got like lots of little ones. I have leaves, different leaves, 3 different kinds of leaves. Don't think I'll do the leaves. Oh, 4 different kinds of leaves. And I have an old car. Let's do the old car. So I've just got these 4 left that we're going to do. And then we're going to play. Okay, so I am going to mute so that I can cut the styrofoam, and I will be right back. Yeah, my grands are pretty much my greatest joy too. Okay, so let's do this car. This is a Sizzix. Like I said, I just got these for like 15, maybe, yeah, $15, $20. Can't remember. Anyway, it was really, really reasonable from some lady in Winnipeg. Was getting rid of all her um, embossing folders. So like I say, some of them are ones that I would not use, like this car, but I will use it as a stamp. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it works. I've got little gears. Sure wish I knew where that foil stuff was from the coffee cans. Oh, those are lovely little gears. Bingo card. Again, we're playing, we're seeing what happens. I don't know if anybody else has just done this. Oh, that's awesome, Gene. He's your explorer. All right. We have a little bingo card. The other nice thing, I will show you. It doesn't matter. One more. I have the man with the umbrella. On copper sheeting. Nice. I've got copper sheeting around here someplace. Surprise! Ron has a bunch in the shop too. All right. So that's the last one. Last one for the embossing folders. The dude with the umbrella. Okay, so we're going to put this away. Jean, do you know what kind of glue works good for styrofoam? Okay, so those are put away. These go in this bag. Look, guys, I'm tidying up. I have to tidy up because I didn't leave myself any room to really play today. All right. Those are put away. These two little dies here, put them in the bin. Yeah, I don't use E6000 either. The lady said something about Gorilla Glue is supposed to be good, but we'll have to check it out. I don't like using that kind of thing either. Maybe I'll leave the machine beside me, and what will I do with it? I will leave the machine beside me and maybe do some die cutting of gel prints. Okay, so I have lots of, let's move the rainbow journal book things. Oh, where? No craftalanches. No craftalanches, please. This can just go over here someplace. That works. Okay, so I pulled out my mock gel plate. Yeah, I can't use the E6000 for that reason too, Belinda. So I've got black. Figure, why not? I know that it's just what I grabbed. Got a brayer. This is just the plastic bag on that packing stuff. So we could do it two ways. We could use it this way. I think if I put the brayer down on it, it could ruin the embossing. So I don't necessarily want to do that. So what I will do is push it down into the paint. Oh, Kim, you need space. And not between your ears. Well, maybe that too. Okay, so I'm just pressing it lightly into the paint on the plastic. Let's just make sure I get it pretty much covered. And we're going to try it. We're going to try it. Here we go. Yeah, I gave Ron my E6000 glue. All right. So if I was doing a background and I needed to make marks, that would be a wonderful mark making one. This one. So that's that side. Now, of course, doing this, we could do it two ways, right? Push this down like a stamp. And then we could pull it with a piece of paper. You know what? I'm just going to grab a bunch of that blue printer paper that I've got. Because I got so much of it that it's okay. It's okay to use it for playing. I said so. So I've got a whole bunch of this. Oh, that's green. We're not going to use the green one. That's a treasure. Blue. So we're going to try this side. Use it as a stamp. Just gently pressing because I don't want the embossing to go away. And if I'd have made sure that it was totally covered, this is what we would get. So that's an interesting print. Again, for mark making, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now there's another way to do it too. Two ways. So what happens if we pull it from the plate? Oh, stuck my finger in the wet paint. Dragged it around. Well, if it was wetter, maybe I need more paint. Looks like I need more paint. Which is just fine. Again, I just use a Crafter's Choice, Dollarama, Michael's, wherever you get it. It's just fine. So what happens if I just lightly roll the brayer over that? Almost like a pull off. Look how nice that looks. And then, what if we took the paper and did it this way? Like this, Belinda? Hey, Pam, nice to see you. Yeah, only outside. Okay, so I put the paint right on the styrofoam. Look at how nice that is. No, don't be heavy-handed with the brayer. Okay, so now I've got this, and we've done this one 3 different ways. We've done this side, we've done this side. We tried pulling it from there. Should we do that again? Try pulling it from here. And of course, you're going to get different things which side you use, right? Because you've got the imprint and you've got the other print. But that would be lovely, like on an ATC or something background. Yeah, that pulled really nice. So again, I can do it this way. This is the other side of it, I think. So, okay, so I can use it as a stamp. Either way. Either way. And I can also use it on the plate, on a gel plate. This is not a gel plate, but I bet you I could use it on a gel plate because it left marks in the paint. I've got some other paint on here, that orange, so it left artifacts on, but it doesn't dry too quickly. It doesn't seem to, because the styrofoam isn't absorbent. Okay, so this one is a win. Yes, both sides. I like it. That's that one. I've used both sides of this styrofoam, Belinda. Yeah, I'm just using black because I really want to make sure that you guys can see what's happening here. So let's do, I think I want this side. Lightly on the brayer. Lightly. This is the clouds. I don't know that it'll, don't know that I'd be able to do several printings. There's the clouds. Now, probably if I didn't use my hand, right, to push it down, I may not get the stuff between the clouds. Not sure. Not sure how that would work. Anyway, the clouds works. Let's try it on here. Let's do it this way. Which way do I prefer? I think that it would depend on what I'm doing. For what way I used it. So that's very, very similar doing that way, except not getting quite as much between the clouds, if that makes sense. But definitely I used the raised side on this one. I don't think I want to do the imprint side because, that would all be black and this would be gray. So definitely I want to use the raised side on the clouds. Now this little bingo one. Okay, that's getting dry. We're getting greeblies. Big greeblies. Big greeblies. What have I got to wipe that off? We'll just put more paint on it. We're playing. It doesn't matter. I'm not going through perfection here. I'm just showing you what's happening. So, for the bingo card, you want it to stay with the bingo side, right? So if I put it this way, it's going to be backwards. So this one, definitely, I am just going to run the brayer lightly over it. Because remember, you don't want it backwards. And I am just going to take this corner, put it down, light rub, get out of the way. Again, being very, very light. And see, that's backwards. Okay, so why would that be backwards? Because it is, right? Uh-oh. So we'll try it this way. So I flipped it onto here. My brain wasn't working. And let's see what happens if I pull it this way. We're just testing. Can perfect after is the way I'm thinking. There we go. That would work. I pulled up all kinds of greebly stuff. So you can't really see it, but that would work. Huh. Yep, that would definitely be backwards, right? Definitely be backwards. But then this is the imprint side. Let's see what happens when I do this one. This is really, I'm sorry guys, I know some of you really have an issue with mucky hands and mucky desks. It's what happens on my streams. Now let's try that. Really mucky. So if I had a good paint coverage and stuff, I would have a bingo card with the numbers. Yeah. So it does work if you flip it. It has to, because I thought that if I put it over it, but I should know this because when I put words down like cat, I have to do it backwards. So I would have to do this side. Definitely have to do this side. Make sure it had a good coverage. So let's try it. Let's take some paint. Gently, gently on this side. Make sure we've got, you know what, I think I need a bit more. Yeah, some people get really offended by mucky hands and desks and whatever. But to me, I'll be honest, I can watch people who have really nice clean desks, etc. But then I wonder, how much crafting do they really do? We've had this discussion, you know, gently, gently, yeah. Okay, Jean, thanks for popping in, hon. Talk soon. We will talk soon. There we go. That's not bad. Oh, those are cute, Sherry. Thank you for sending that to me. She just sent me a crochet pattern for wristlets, like fingerless glove wristlet things. So that one worked. That one worked. Okay. Let's try this dude with the umbrella. We'll do it this way. Use it like a stamp. Now, I suppose what I could do is I could go around with like a pen or something to definitely outline that a bit more. But that worked out nicely as well. Sure, I've got like the background color, whatever, but I like it. I would definitely use it this way instead of an embossy folder. Seriously. Okay, let's try these arrows. You know what? Let's put the paint right on these. I think that works best. This way you guys can see it too. Just roll gently so that you aren't pushing the embossing down that you created. It does look like a silhouette. Okay, again, I like doing it this way, putting the paint on and then putting the paper on top. I think I prefer that out of everything. Does that make sense? Can you see this one? Then, of course, I would come and doodle the arrows or whatever. But for a background, that's fun. See, this way you would get the black. That would be more blue. I like putting the paint down first. Definitely like putting the paint on that. So that's what I'll do. Because I'm just going to use this as my palette. Don't want it too wet. So which side do I want? I think I want this side. We'll find out. Yeah, I like this side. And again, this is more like the way I have taught people to do prints in the past with the styrofoam. Yeah, that bingo card did turn out nice when I got it right way, the proper way around. I like that print. The reason I like that print, I don't know why, but I really like that. Does that make sense? This is the way I like doing things on the styrofoam for making prints. Yeah, yeah, that's it. It looks like a negative. That's probably why. This, this, I also use this like a gel plate, right? So it's got, I guess that's almost like a 1.5 piece of that white packing foam stuff. It's not styrofoam. It's this stuff, that white nylon-y texture, right? So I did that, put it in a large Ziploc bag, put some duct tape, Gorilla tape, whatever, on the ends to hold it tight. And I used this like a gel plate. Yeah, different paint colors, definitely. But I love the way that turned out. And because it's still kind of wet, I don't know if I could get a secondary print. Let's try it. That's clear. Well, maybe. We'll see. This is my mock gel plate. I do have a real gel plate, but like I say, I like to use this as a palette. I use it for many things. Okay, it had been sitting there too long, but I bet you could get a second print if you pulled it right away. So that one, like the car. Let's do the wood grain. Yeah, let's grab a piece of, you know what, let's use a book page for that one, because then I can just use it. Oh, wow, that got a mess beside me, guys. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've used like folded towels and stuff too, Sherry. As long as you can get it nice and flat, probably even if you had like cardboard might work. Thick piece of cardboard. There's the wood grain. Again, I like putting the paint on this and then doing it. My much preferred way of doing it. And if you push too hard and you lose your imprint, either run it through the press again, toss it. But if we figure out how to glue this stuff down, that would be an interesting piece just to use in a journal as it is. Right? These are the little cameras. Some of these cameras, I even noticed that when I had used it on a print, like when I tried embossing it, some of them are almost dead. Like there's no definition to them. Right. You know, even if you had a big piece of styrofoam, because you're not putting too much pressure on it, you could probably get away with that. As long as it's like a flatter piece of styrofoam, so you don't get those nubbly, you know what I mean? The little cameras. As I say, I'm going to cut them into shapes so that I've got like 4, 6, and a row or so, you know? They're all kind of different, but the same. But that's kind of fun. Okay, what else have we got? We've got this admit one. So this side is backwards. Yeah, I've tried making my own gel plate. I was not a fan. I found it didn't last very long. I have tried. And that one is backwards, so I'm thinking it's going to come out just fine. You know what could work if you have a telephone book? Even a telephone book would work because it's still got a bit of a, it's not rock hard. You know what I mean? Or what about fun foam? Fun foam works. I'm sure fun foam would work. Look how nice that admit one came out. These are going to be great for backgrounds, guys. Absolutely great for backgrounds. Okay, these gears. I'm trying to decide which side I want. We could try this side. See what happens. Let's try the book page. Try the other side of the book page. So this is another way for making stamps and background marks. The gears worked out nice. So I guess depending on which side I use is for, because one is in and one is out, right? That one's... Yeah, that ticket does look good. That's the other way of doing the gears. So I've got the ins and the outs. That's the outs. This is the ins. Does that make sense? I like the gears. Okay, we've got that little row of musical notes. They're coming to pick up my little car today. I donated it to Teen and Adult Challenge. It's to help people with substance abuse problems. They take the vehicles and I don't know if they strip them down for parts or whatever, but you can donate your vehicles to them. You get a charitable receipt. So they're coming to pick up my little red car today. And because they also have a thrift store, I went through closets and packed up a couple of garbage bags worth of stuff for them. They said, just leave it in the car. So I don't know if they're here while I was online, if they're on still looking. Okay, that's backwards, right? The treble clef is definitely backwards. Didn't even think of that. Let's try this way. Whoop. Don't know how well one's going to work then. We'll see. We will see. Right. If I wanted to come in really close, definitely I could do that. Well, it's a little bit better, not great. I don't know what its problem is. Because you can see that, it seems to me like there's a piece missing there between the lines. This definitely filled up with paint, which is weird. But it just gives a hint of it. If you're using it as a background, all you need is a hint for the depth, right? Yeah. I've done that with paint chips. I've used my paint chips and used them as stamps. Now let's try this one. I love this one. But like I say, I did it on the paint chips and it cut through. And I didn't go back and do like a bunch of layers for it. Different side of the page. If I'd have used white paper, I could use this for a black and white journal. But no. Oh yeah, Styrofoam accepts paint. Definitely accepts paint. You can't peel it off. That's a nice texture. You're welcome. Like, I mean, if you look, it's on there. Well, you can't tell by my fingers, but it's definitely on there. And you can't peel it. It doesn't scratch off or anything. Yeah, I really like that one too. Let's see what the other side does. I don't think it's going to be much different. We'll find out. We will find out. I think this one I would use either side. Yeah, I could definitely. Well, I mean, my rainbow journal is just about done. But I mean, I've got so many different journals on the go that something like this, right? And you just take the corner of the page and do that. So it's really not that much different on that side. So I could use that one either way. Definitely, I could use that one either way. Because, this one has a little bit of floofy stuff around the, almost like a scalloped edge around the pattern. This one, it doesn't show as clear. Anyway, either way, I like that one. Let's try this one. This is the one I was concerned about, if you remember me saying. It's not really raised or, got a very, very low emboss. Oh, for sure. For sure. As I say, the reason I'm using black right now is because I wanted you guys to see it better. I could have used a color, but I think black will show up best doing it. Yeah, not a fan already. I can see that some of these may be a little bit difficult to see. Let's get another page. I think with the ones that I've punched or printed, oh, those are green. I'm not going to use green. Oh, styrofoam bits on the floor. What was I saying? Oh, with the pages that I've done, I think what I will do is use my whole circle punch and punch out pieces of it and then doodle on them. Okay, so that's got the different textures. You can see the little dot lines and yeah, that one I think would definitely have to have scant amount of paint on. That's the other thing, that when you're making prints, you have to get the feel for how much paint not to use. So this is the other side. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah. And as I say, I just want this so that you guys can see what's happening. Better clarity. So I put much less paint on that. Very, very similar to the other one. Very, very similar. So that's a fun one. I like the fact that it's got all the different, could definitely cut it out and just use a bit of that on something. Okay, so let's try this musical notes one. See? This one too. On the staff lines, it's gone right through and torn it. Right? Like it's That one is a brutal, brutal one. Okay, that's definitely going to come out backwards because this is the right way around. But we can test it. We can test it. Yeah, a light sepia would be nice. Or even like a pale gray, so it's almost like a shadow. So I like that. It's pale, but it's background. I don't know that they would or not. And I don't know if brushing the paint on them would work better. So this would make it the right side. Let's see what happens. Hey, Susan, welcome, welcome. I just ran a whole bunch of styrofoam through embossing folders and seeing how they work as stamps or for printmaking, whatever you want to call it. That's not bad. It's not as clear as this side. I mean, that would work if you just need a little bit of background something, even if it is backwards. This is the one I want to see, guys. This is that corner one. So I am just trying to get the corner. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not trying not to rub on that bit. But I find putting copy paper through the embossing folders, I get a lot of holes. So that isn't too bad either. I don't know that I would use it on a journal page because of the smudging around. I would definitely have to come and cut around it very, very close. Not sure. Not sure. That's that side. Let's see what this side does. What you been working on, Susan? Are you still doing the D&D stuff? Oh, thanks. It's because I have so many styrofoam plates. My daughter used to do those paint night things, and she used styrofoam plates as the pallets. So I have a full package of 150 plus this partial package, and I don't want to use them or donate them because then it would be like one use and they get thrown out. So this way I'm trying to reuse the styrofoam. Oh, you got that out of your system? Awesome. So that's the other side. So it's got the outlines, but it's definitely got the cloud background. But still, it's a great effect. Like, really, great effects. Here's the roses. I just did that on a little piece because we're just playing today. But then, I probably will cut it up into little bits. A lot of these into just little bits to use as stamps. I love the way the roses come out. Let's do the other side. Yeah, I guess what I could always do is put a piece of paper or something over that so that I'm not picking up all the excess stuff, almost like a mask. There's the other side of the roses. Very similar. Definitely like the roses. Then we've got the gears. New piece of paper. More paint. Yeah, the roses are cute. And like I said, if you were doing a black and white journal, when we figure out the kind of glue to use on this, cut off like a little square and have it in a corner. The thing about the styrofoam is A, it's light. It would definitely hold your paper corners rigid. Yeah, it would add an awful lot of bulk because it isn't thin. But even if since we found out that it cuts out nice on the die cut machine, could you imagine making little styrofoam buttons? Right? Put a couple of holes in them, like do a whole bunch of circles, put the holes in the center, and a little bit of stitching. Those would be wonderful buttons. This would make a great button, the texture. Oh, look, I've got another one here. Still have a couple more to go. Let's put some more paint down. That's what we were wondering. Eileen's tacky glue, although I think Anne said Gorilla Glue would work. We do have Gorilla Glue around. Sorry, I need a slurp of tea. And I'm sure once they've been used a few times, they're still going to last more than just a single use plate for one dinner to get thrown out, right? Again, this probably has way more paint on it than it needs. Golden Bond sticks just about anything. Like I say, I used to use it for glass when I was doing mosaics. I will have to test it. I think that the fabric glue is for really porous surfaces, Belinda. This is not porous, really. Well, it is, because you can't get the paint off, but you know what I mean? Oh, I do like the gears. That would be a lovely, lovely background. Let's try this side. But something like this, you could just take part of it, so you could get it on a few different pages, just on the corners. And here's an idea. Okay, so I used much less paint, much lighter print. So if you had this just on a corner of a page, say we just grabbed this one gear, right? This one gear. So it's just a little bit of the gear on the corner, a little bit of stuff. If you built a cluster on top of that, wouldn't that be fun? Oh, definitely, Belinda. So I'm thinking that, like I said, I'm going to take a whole punch and I'm going to cut out a bunch of different circles and stuff and doodle them and have them just to add throughout my journals. But they could also be bases for inchies, twinchies, whatever, right? Yeah, that's definitely a ghost print. Okay, we've got one more. This is I like this one. I like that one. Oh, gee, please. So yeah, now when I make painting papers, I can be using these. I could. That's why I'm thinking. Then I would use them for buttons. That is a fabulous background. Like I said, I can put these on the gel plate. Anything, right? Let's use this other side. Because you saw the lovely marks it made in the paint on this. Think of what it would do on a gel plate. And I've got the little gel plates too, right? The circle and the square and the triangle. These would make wonderful little mark making. So yeah, this way I don't have to throw these styrofoam plates in the garbage. I'm going to use them as stamps. Fun. They're fun. They're fun, fun, fun. All right. So let's now try, because I got this side. We'll put the paint down on here and put these on and we'll pull it like a print. You don't have any of the little ones, what? Oh, the little gel plates? Okay, so I'm going to consider this ready to rock. Look, I'm going to have some nice black paper to play with. Oh, it's good to have some black paper. Okay, so I'm just going to use this one because it's here. I can put that there. And we're going to put this one here. Oh, little gel plates? Yeah. And we're going to put this one over here. And here. And then we're going to pull it like a gel print. I like using them for stamps, and I like putting this stuff on them and flipping them onto a page and using them as a highlight on a page. I especially like my little round one because they make some great planets. Okay, let's see. Oh, it took all the greeblies underneath. But still, that would be a very interesting print if I didn't have all the artifacts underneath. If I'd have cleaned that off first. Yeah, my fingers too. So there you have it. You can do them on the gel plate. You could use them as stamps. You could use them for making. Oh, I just had black paint and I pushed my glasses up my nose. I bet you I've got a black streak all the way up my nose. Whatever. So, what do you guys think? Great use for your embossing folders? Like I say, my embossing folders are covered in paint because I use them on the plate. Wow, you can really see that orange. I think that was actually maybe a watercolor. I don't remember. Anyway, it pulled it up nicely. Oh, thanks, Anne. You know, we have to try things. The reason we have to try things is because it gives more creativity to what we're playing with, right? That something like this, we don't all have the same gel plates. It's like the stencils, right? You could get very tired of these very fast. But the nice thing is, then you use this, like you were saying, cut out the circles and make some buttons or something out of it. Right? Because we know now that we could put the styrofoam on the little cutter and cut out shapes. Right? So it's just a real bonus. I think I've got circles that I could use for cutting out buttons. I'm looking for things that you don't have all the little holes to pick out, right? So definitely ovals, tickets. Where was that ticket one? This little ticket kind of thing. These kinds of things work perfectly. I didn't want to try the fussier dies because I don't have to pick them out. And then, of course, this is the one I was originally talking about and doing. Got to show you how this works, right? Because if you have a coloring book or a magazine or something and there's a shape in it that you like, if you put it on top of the styrofoam and take a dead pen or a nail or something with a point and you put it and draw this, right? You draw it. I've done cats, I've done houses, I've done all kinds of various things. This was a cookie cutter. I pressed it in and then I deepened it with something. I can't remember what I used. But still, look at the nice prints you get out of that too. So if you have a coloring book, you have a piece of styrofoam, you put the picture from the coloring book on. I don't have a coloring book page, but let's just take a Sharpie and pretend this is a coloring piece of paper with a coloring book page on it, and it's just a flower, right? Just a flower like that. So then you take your dead pen or even a pencil, like a sharp pencil. Let's just use the orange pencil. So we're going to go around that quite deep. Make it deep. Make it deep. Right? Then you go around the petals. Make them deep. And these last a long time, I can tell you right now, because you're not going to use them on every single project. And you can have many, many, many. They store nice, right? They're flat. You put them in a recipe box or not those boxes that you can put the 3x5 iCads, those things. Okay, so there. I drew the flower. I went over it with the pencil. I got lots of dry paint. As I say, I've done cats, I've done houses, I've done all kinds of just really simple things. The paint was very dry. Can you see it? So then you come back on that and you doodle it. Let's get some real paint on that so that you can see what I'm doing here. So like I say, coloring books, if there's a squirrel or a snowman or whatever that you think is cute, right? I need a piece of paper that hasn't got paint on it. What about doing a fairy house? Or a tree? Or even just patterns, lines and circles. You know, again, it's just making prints. Just something. Come in and color that with a colored paint or whatever. Doodle in the blue lines. Put some words on it. It would make a little tag or something. Great way to use styrofoam. Like I say, if you're using meat trays, wash them, sterilize them. Definitely do that before you use them. If you happen to have big bundles of styrofoam plates like I do, perfect way to use them up. I've got all these bits left. I'm not going to chop them up because it bothers Shaz. But I will print words backwards on them. Let's do that. Okay. Need my mouse. I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm pointing. You guys can't see what I'm pointing at. I'm just pointing. But there's a microphone symbol down there. I'm going to mute that. Okay. The sound of foam cutting bothers Shaz. That's why I muted the microphone. Okay, let's put the word peace on here. I love the word peace. So of course we have to print it backwards. Whoa! No, it's got to go this way. Okay, so there's the word peace. Now we're going to go over it with the pencil. You're laughing, Shaz. I see you laughing at me. All's good. Got to be respectful of other people. Like I say, I have a real issue with metal on metal for some reason. Like scraping out a pan or... Yeah, don't like it. Don't like it. Okay. And I know this is not everybody's cup of tea because it's not precise and clean. And Tanya McGuire is an awesome person. Awesome, awesome lady to watch. Okay. I don't know if I've got enough paint. Oh, it looks like I've got enough paint. And we're going to put it right there. So again, guys, limited by our imaginations. Got to use what we've got. How's that? Now, if I have stencils, so I'm going to take some of the stencils, and I'm going to put them down to make words on the styrofoam so that it's a little bit neater. I mean, that worked just fine. It'd be nice in rainbow colors, of course, because I'm an old hippie and I like it. You could do frames around them. Limited by imaginations. So like I say, I've got all these bits that I'm going to use, and I'm going to do words, but I'm going to do words, I don't know what kind of words. They're going to be polite. Susan, I don't have ink, so I can't tell you. What I use for ink, like if I'm doing stamping or anything, I do this, or I take a piece of felt in a sour cream lid, and I put a little bit of water just to dampen it, and I put the paint on it, and then I stamp from the paint. I do have some stamp pads, but sometimes you want those other colors, right? I use paint more than I use anything. Okay, I do have some homemade alcohol ink. Let's see what happens. Let's try spritzing it with. Yeah, it's got paint on it already. We'll see what happens. I'm game. Very wet, very wet, very wet. It soaks through because I use copy paper. But look, the way it soaks through, I see that on this side. Okay, so spritz inks would work. Of course, it picked up some of the paint as well. So I think if you used a spritz ink, you would have to be very, very light-handed with it. I wonder if like powdered chalk and stuff would work. I don't know. I do not have that kind of thing. Oh yes, I do somewhere. I've got powdered chalk, like little palette of chalk things. But I do have makeup. Let's try the makeup. My daughter didn't like the other colors in this makeup, so she said, "Do you want it, Mom?" Surprise! So I took it. So this is Too Faced Sweet Peach makeups. It's powdered eyeshadow things. What do I use to take it out? What about a Q-tip? I've got some of those Q-tip things. Let's try that. Huh. Oh, that's not the one I was using. Well, we'll see what happens, right? I think it's too dry. I don't even know what color I was using, guys. It's going to be whatever it is. Let's see what happens. This corner. Oh, it slid. It does nothing. Nothing. Nope. I see nothing. So that would lead me to believe that chalk would not work. Have to try it. Definitely have to try it. What about, because I know that I've used it and I've edged papers with it sometimes. It takes a lot, and you It's not. It is what it is. Anyway, that doesn't seem to work. But the spritz ink definitely. Let's see if I can. What happens if I spritz it on top of that eyeshadow stuff? See if that works better. It's just a really light spritz. Ah. Okay, so it's still picking up black then. Black is coming off with alcohol ink. Interesting. So anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. We had a nice bit of play. Styrofoam works in the die cut machine. It works for embossing and for using as stamps or mark making or whatever. What else? The small gel plates. Oh, like I say, I like the little shaped ones because sometimes I don't want to put this amount of paint out, right? So if I'm just working on a 4x4, I think it's a 4x4, and then I've got like a little triangle and a 3 inch circle. I'll show you. I'll grab them. They're really mucky because I don't clean my gel plates very often. So it is 3 inch circle, 3 inch square, and a 3 inch triangle. So I don't know how well you can see them. They're really messy. But they're little. But I like the fact that I can just work on something small. Right? This way I can just work on something small. I do wish that was a right angle triangle though. But if I'm just working like on the corner of a page or the edge of a page, I love these. I absolutely love these. But I like to work small. And as I say, sometimes when you want to gel print, but you don't want to do this. Although I do this. You're welcome, Shaz. Anyhow, that's about all I got for you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you guys coming and watching and throwing out ideas to me because I think that's what this community is about, is if we share ideas and try things out, that's how we get more ideas to share. It's been a lovely play date. I've learned some things. I've tried different things. I still would like to find those darn silver liners from the coffee because I really want to put those through an embossing folder and see what happens. Take care. Hugs to you all. See you Friday. Mucky hands. Bye. Mouse. Lost the mouse again. I don't know why I always lose my mouse. Okay. Bye, guys.